This is a video about how to change your emotions and consequently how to control your emotions. The reason you find yourself so immersed in your emotional state is that you experience your emotions from the first person view. You identify with them. Do you accept that a stranger on the subway had ego suffered before, like you can? And can you see that you are entirely dissociated from the ego suffering of the stranger on the subway? Can you see that you are entirely dissociated from all ego suffering in the universe? Oh, except for one, your own. Isn't this so ironic that it could only be conceived by consciousness? This is exactly what we are doing with consciousness when we ego suffer. We underutilize it. Even though we have all the tools to disconnect from ego suffering, which is an essential step that makes us be able to express consciousness much more properly. The key to emotional freedom is to emotionally dissociate yourself from your separated first-person perspective in order to see that your first-person perspective has no actual ontological rooting in reality. A human life is a quite complex story, but definitely not a story of infinite complexity, because you never ever have all the facts. And what you actually are is awareness. The empty awareness in which the story takes place. Shift into your original mode of awareness, and the first person perspective emotionally evaporates. There is no actual rooting to the first person perspective beyond you maintaining a very specifically constrained, deluded version of first person reality. In order to successfully dissociate from our ego suffering and to let it dawn upon ourselves that we are nothing less than awareness itself, we need a technique that leads us to actually feel and actually recognize that we are just pure awareness, and there is no need and no obligation to identify with anything other than that at our deepest level. Here is the technique. Whenever your ego suffering successfully reaches legendary level, summon in yourself the capacity to place some metaphoric camera outside of yourself and see your body, the representation of you being a separate identity in the universe, as if it were a video game character being immersed in an isometric role-playing game. An NPC. This move is key, very important. It lets you see that you have the capacity to truly witness your inner mind narration without any value judgment and any fear. You have the capacity to dissociate from them and to see that all your inner narrations are constructs of the mind. Why are you free to see this? Well, because as soon as you see a head from the outside, you have no idea what is going on inside that head. You have to remain neutral because you don't have the facts. You don't have the emotional facts. This neutrality, this non-involvement in the ego suffering is the jumping pad you use to dissociate yourself from the ego suffering. If you get this framing correctly, it is so effective that it pretty much makes you look for a consciousness bureaucrat and you state, "Hello, I just realized that most of the time I have spent with ego suffering is in vain. Can I have that time back?" The ego suffering evaporates as soon as you change perspective. By the perspective shift, you realize that the ego suffering merely is a byproduct of past experiences and their present moment interpretations in linear time that you rotate around in your mind. And that rotation, that grinding, is the suffering. And surprise, it has zero ontological basis in reality. It is all in your mind. I guarantee you, there is no power in the universe that constantly checks. By the way, how is your ego suffering going? You put good efforts into that, I hope. You do? Those are wonderful results. Keep it up. This shift of perspective adjusts everything for the better, because it adjusts the first person perspective for the better. And you are free to upload an emotional state of your choosing onto the clean slate of awareness. What are some good emotional states to upload into your consciousness and to ride on that consciousness? Once you are free to upload emotional content into yourself, because you have taken out the trash from your consciousness, this pretty much is freedom already, and you have allowed yourself to shift into awareness mode, essentially to the kid-like innocence you originally had, and logically, which you originally are still. You just forgot because of the remembrance of arbitrary interpretations you made throughout your experience of linear time. one of the best things you can do to cultivate meaningful and significant emotions is to have something to look forward to in your life. Your immediate response to this could be, "But Zoltan, my emotional life, my life is an emotional train wreck in space beyond the sun. I got nothing to look forward to." Well, in that case, how about making a set of genuine efforts at coming up with modifications to your life experience? That could be something to look forward to. Efforts that have the potential to fill your life experience with elements to look forward to. Thank you. Do you have your own technique or techniques to change your emotions? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.